Hi there. For this how-to, I thought I'd take a look at the various ways that you can automatically green up within Fairbot. If I just pull up the strategy editor for you, I've created this demonstration strategy already. Essentially, there's three ways. The first way is to use a standard trade, although one might argue that that isn't, strictly speaking, a green up, because the trade itself, the action of placing a trade, you specify an offset. So your trade will green up if and only if your offset is matched. But I thought it was worthwhile including that in this particular how-to. More specifically, however, we want to have a look at the two options of green up all and green up selection. On the face of it, they are essentially the same, although there is a subtle difference with the green up selection option. Let me just open that up, and you've seen me do this before, you're no doubt familiar with this. The green up all selections option is essentially the same as clicking on the green up all button above the grid. If I just, let me just cancel that and move that out of the way a little bit. So the green up all option would appear here. And this dialog box essentially allows you to configure that. So the green up all selections is the action you would use. You would choose the market. Generally speaking, you'd use the available price. That essentially gets you out quicker, greens you up quicker. You could use the most profitable price, so you might get a better green up position, but there is a risk that your green up will not be matched. Simply because you're asking for a better position rather than taking what's already there. The cancel action is self-explanatory. Whenever this green up all action takes place, part of that process will look at any unmatched or pending bets and it will delete them. And then, of course, you can have your normal bet persistence settings as well. Now compare that to the green up selection option. On the face of it, it may look the same, but notice how when you come to greening up price, you've got the available price, the most profitable price, but you've also got a custom price as well. And if you click on that, you can then choose from your basic pricing structures. So for example, you might, if you've backed and you want to green up for a lay, you might want to take whatever the best lay odds are, but then you may want to ensure that you do get greened up by perhaps, let's say, increasing the price that you're going to ask for as part of that green up process. And that's particularly useful in a very fast moving market. The thing about it, of course, is compared to the green up all option, this only applies to the runner that you've selected using the choose selection section. And it's the same as any other choose selection section within Fairbot. You can choose by a whole range of different criteria. The important thing about that is that the green up selection will only green up your outstanding position on the runner that you choose, whereas the green up all option greens up all open positions across the field. So the green up all option is the same clicking on this button here, that was convenient. It's the same as clicking on here, whereas the green up selection option is the same as clicking on the corresponding green up button next to the runner concerned. If you do have open positions on other runners, clicking on the green up all selections button doesn't affect the position on the other runners. And that's true with the automated procedure that you have here. So that's essentially the two differences between them. In addition, of course, you've got the conditions tab, so you can set limits, so only green up if a particular target's been hit and all that sort of thing. One thing I should flag up to you that you might want to consider instead of using the green up all option, you might think that's the most obvious, simplest one to use. However, in some markets, it might be better to use the green up selection. I'm specifically thinking of two outcome markets. For example, in tennis. In tennis, the market, or more specifically the volume of money, follows the leader. In other words, if one player, I should say, is leading the match, most of the bets will be on that player's side of the market. And if they start to lose the match and the momentum goes to the other player, the money moves to that player. Now, if you were to use the green up all option, the way Fairbot works in conjunction with Betfair's cross-matching, it will try to find you the best green up position. So instead, let's say you've backed one player and they've come in and you want to green up. Instead of laying that player, Fairbot stroke Betfair may actually match you on the other side of the book by backing the other player. But if the other player is such that there's very little money on that side of the market at that particular point, you may find that that green up doesn't get matched. So you might want to force the green up on the player to which you have the money. That's something that you might want to consider. And that is certainly a situation where I would use the green up selection option. Okay guys, that's that for this how-to. I'll speak to you later. Cheers.